Welcome, everybody. My name is Anthony Kazazis, and I am the director of the NYC Network Group, as well as the NYC Real Estate Expo. And today we have a special person here with us to talk about building an empire with mortgage note investing. Her name is Jasmine Willois. Did I pronounce that right? Jasmine?
Willois, you're close enough. I love
Willois. Okay. Managing Director of the Note Assistance Program. Jasmine will share with us today on how to build your empire with mortgage note investing. Jasmine Willois is the founder and president of Note Assistance Program. The Note Assistance Program offers an exclusive trade desk that features an inventory of pre-qualified delinquent nationwide loans that Jasmine's community of clients can purchase. A step-by-step coaching program that goes beyond basic information to guide Ms. Willois' clients through the entire process, from the successful buying of a note to generating a profit. Prior to the founding of Note Assistance Program, Ms. Willois worked as an equity trader and investment banker for Morgan Stanley and Witter. After losing close colleagues on 9/11, she left the industry and worked as a loss mitigation specialist with GMAC Homecomings. Bit by the bug, Jasmine left corporate America to chase the freedom and return of real estate investment. By 2013, she combined her leadership qualities, her equity trading background, and her knack for real estate to create the community affectionately known as NAP Nation. Jasmine earned her BS in economics, minor in industrial organization from California State University at Long Beach, and holds an MBA in marketing from Ashford University. Passionate advocate for responsible investing, she is an in-demand nationwide speaker and serves on the board of Hope Ranch and ATBE Around the Box events. When she's not busy working on non-performing mortgages, Jasmine can be found playing Texas Hold'em, spending time with her son, and traveling. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Jasmine Willois from Note Assistance. Welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you very much, Anthony. I really appreciate you having me, and as always, sharing this opportunity with me. We do miss being out there with you. We normally be at a convention, right? You have your annual convention around this time?
Unfortunately, it has been canceled due to COVID, but hopefully maybe next year, Jasmine.
We'll be there no matter what. So we're very excited about it. So listen, guys, I'm excited to have you here today. We normally have our special guests reserved for the end, but our guest today is a member of our community, the NAP Nation, but she has engagement to get to. So I want to bring her on a little bit earlier. And what we're going to do is just chit chat a little bit to find out about her experience with notes, why she's involved with notes, and kind of give you kind of peek underneath the curtain to see if this experience is something that you would be fit for. So Tanya, are you there?
Hello, everyone.
So I just wanted to have an opportunity to bring someone who not only resides there on the East Coast, right, but who's fairly kind of new to this note thing. And by fairly new, I can't wait for you to share your story. But, you know, to let everybody know kind of what got you into notes when you first heard about it, and then how you found out about the community and where you are today.
Sure. Well, my name is Tanya Brown. I live in the Baltimore area from Maryland, representing West Coast. Yeah. So I got into note investing simply because I was looking for freedom. I was looking to get into real estate investing. And so I looked into wholesaling. I looked into buy and holds, and I even flipped the house, and all of it was just like, it's nice to know, but it's not something that I want to do each and every day I get up. I'm not a flipper. I'm not a wholesaler. I do want to own some buy and holds eventually, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted more passive income and something that I enjoyed getting up and doing each and every day. And so I started looking into tax liens. And as I was looking into tax liens, I came across note investing. And I was like, what is note investing all about? What is that? And so I started delving more into it. And then I found out that I can be the bank. So just the everyday average Joe who's sitting up in their house can collect mortgage payments from everybody else and make a living off of it. And so I was like, this is quite interesting. Right. So I actually ran into Jasmine at Think Realty when it came to Baltimore last year. And I said, oh, this is a notes thing. I've got to get into it. And so that's how Jasmine and I met. And I guess the rest is history. I jumped right into it. Actually, I didn't jump right into it. I actually asked a few questions, and it took me about 2 months before I actually joined the NAP Nation. And I think
Right,
I was
right,
telling Jasmine, because you kind of you get shirked and jerked because everybody has a plan, everybody has a training, and everybody has as a class, and you get tired of being sold when all you want to do is know the information and learn the processes. And
right.
everybody's, oh, I've got this, and then I've got an upsell here, and I've got an upsell there. And I flat out told Jasmine, I said, listen, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you wasting my time. I would like to just get into this program. I want you to tell me to do what you do. Teach me what you do, and I want to
Amen,
get this
amen,
thing.
right?
And Jasmine said, most people don't tell me that. I was surprised because I was just didn't want to be bothered with another gimmick. And ever since I jumped in there, she assured me, what you're going to get access to everything. You're going to learn everything. I'm going to teach you everything I know. And I went in there, and she has not disappointed me.
Well, that's a fabulous story. I just wanted to, first of all, thank you for the testimonial and just for sharing your journey, because we all start in different places. And what I love is that you had actually heard about the notes, just a little bit of something about it, right? Before we ran into each other. So you are ready to find out more, right?
Oh, definitely. Yes. Because I mean, it's just you have the bank never loses, right? And you have full
Finding that
control.
out. We're finding out more and more, especially during the times like this on quarantine and pandemic, if I may say so, right?
Definitely,
Um,
definitely.
And I feel fortunate about the timing of that we met too, right? So it's right when we were all still doing in-person events. So as we just mentioned, I do a lot of the Anthony's events. So when we are back and up and running, I'd love to meet some of you. Some of us have already met in doing that before, but just like Tanya and I ran into each other, these are type of experiences that are out there for everyone. And so what I also loved about your testimonial is that if you guys have not tuned in, we have a podcast called Naked Notes. Okay. And as you can see the sign right there behind us, but Tanya was on our episode that's called The Women of Nap Nation. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yes.
So she was there speaking with 3 other women who actually, if you want to hear stories about it and just hear her complete story as well about some of the assets that she's made profit off of and things like that and why she's with us, definitely tune into that and listen to the Women of Nap Nation. But yeah, no, Tanya, it was for me equally as exciting just to run into you because, for me, this is our whole mission is 5K and 5Y. And so if you don't mind speaking to that, because I think you're aware of that because you listen to the podcast, we want to help 5,000 families change their legacies over the next 5 years, right? You're aware of that.
Correct. Yes. And that was one of the reasons that I joined also, because a lot of times I was looking at other programs also, and I heard, we want to help you, is all they said. We want to help you. We want to help you reach your goals. We want to help you. But when I heard you all, and I was listening to your podcast, I was all throughout your website. I did my research on you before I jumped in, but I was listening to the podcast. I was like, 5K in 5 years. I said, that's a big goal. I mean, that is very huge. But then I was like, why not make it that huge? Go
That's
after
it.
that, achieve it. And so it was very specific. And I like specific goals and
Yeah.
setting, measures. And when you have those goals and you set those measures, you go after them. And it's not just we want to help you, it's that we want to see you become financially free. And we want 4,999 other people to do it with you.
To be exact, yes. And so we bring a lot of that into the training, right? That's why it's a proprietary program. We found also, just like you said, you run into a lot of these other programs, and whether or not there's what I call a mousetrap, right? Selling you upselling to other things. But one of the things I did notice is that they weren't giving you everything. And so we decided to be the opposite of that, right? And just give you everything. And you get the whole fire hose effect at the same token. But with the program, what I love about it is we're able to take you through that step by step as you're going through a note. So let's talk about that. You joined the program. Have you taken action? How many notes have you purchased? And,
I,
just
I,
give us an overview of that experience.
I've purchased 8 notes in about a year's time after joining the program. I think I joined around October, so it's been a year. I've purchased 8 notes. I've got 2 offers in already, hoping to make that 10. Lord, my math, helping to make that 10 notes very soon. But what I did like about the program and the training is that it was hands-on. And I'm the type of person who I like to get in the trenches. I like to get my hands dirty. Show me what I need to know in order to work out a note. And
Right.
that's exactly what this program did. It just showed me how to work it out from how to evaluate it, how to do your due diligence, how to run the numbers and make sure that, an estimate of your cash on cash return, your IRR, everything that you need, you get everything. And so when I finished actual training, I was ready to purchase. I mean, it took me a little while as far as not the money, but just feeling comfortable enough to say, okay, I'm going to take the leap. But that took maybe a month. And then I
And to
took
say
the
after
leap.
that, you've been on fire.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets better and better. And so even after I took that leap and I started purchasing more notes, and Jasmine's providing some inventory also. But the thing I like about it too is that it's not just, you have to buy from me. You can go other places and you can purchase there also. However, they're still there. That's what I like, is that I can contact Jasmine or I can contact Natasha and I get a response. I get a response that day. And it's not like you went through the program, get out, and you're gone. It's still a great mentorship. And that's what I really appreciate and I like. Thank you.
Yeah, no, wonderful, and we appreciate having community players like you as well. I mean, you're active, you're taking action, you realize the value. So let's stop and talk about that real quick before I let you go. So you talked about you actually feeling comfortable enough to go out there and buy notes. What makes me feel comfortable about you going through the program the right way is I feel comfortable with you going out and buying notes from other people. And so, did you feel, as you're going out there and branching out, do you feel that this education is helpful for you when you're going out there and assessing other people's notes and other trade desks that you're buying, or even creating notes on your own? Are you taking
Oh,
this with you and extending it?
definitely, because you can easily, I mean, just going through this and the tapes that you provide, and after you start looking at them month after month, week after week, and
Right,
you can evaluate them almost automatically. And you start looking at, the trash from the treasures. And
right.
even sometimes, I mean, the lessons and everything that you all provide, because I mean, there's still the podcast, there's the Facebook group, there's all the inner circle meetings and everything else. And
Yes,
there's
ma'am.
still more learning and you still get more information. So at one point I was saying, oh, I'll never invest in New York. I'll never invest in California. And then you showed us some assets that were just magnificent treasures that everybody overlooked because they don't go to New York and they don't invest in California. So
Right.
constantly learning and growing. So yeah, it's really been a great venture.
Yeah. So, listen, what I do know about people like you, in case you haven't picked it up out there, this is a business-minded woman. So I'm sure she's looking to expand. So I'd love to let people know about where you see this future of yours going with notes. And if it does also include, OPM, other people's money, and helping other people get involved, how would they contact you? But tell them a little bit about where you see yourself with notes in the future.
I see myself just working the note business, building this into an actual business. And as far as OPM, I've started working on OPM. I've actually have multiple JVs. I actually have about 3 more JV partners. I just have to find some assets that fit their criteria and I'm ready to go. But the truth
Right.
is, and I know people say this all the time, that you just need to find the deal and the money will come. And I used to be like, yeah, okay. Money's hard to come by. But it's actually true. When you find a good deal, it will come to you. And so
Now
as
you're
far as
Now
as
your
far
new
as
problem, if I may interrupt, your new problem is right, vetting out money and making sure, we always say not all money is good money, right? Is that
right,
correct?
correct. And there has been at least one other person that I have not decided not to do any type of JV or partnership with, just because, like you said, not all money is good money, and I would be spending more of my time trying to explain and educate that person than I would actually, trying to get the investment and get stuff up and running. But definitely, I'm growing this into a business. I have several JV partners. I actually started talking at my local RIA. I would get up every time they offered someone to stand up and offer their deal. I would just get up in the middle of the meeting and say, my name is Tanya. I'm a note investor. I'm looking for capital JV partners who are interested in making around 10 to 12% because I knew I could get them at least a
Hey,
10
I'm
to
interested in
12.
that. Wait, what's your number?
See? Because you can at least get those numbers for a JV partnership and still, you still making out very well. And so
Amen.
I would say that, and I would get some calls. And then eventually the RIA said, hey, would you like to lead our discussion group on passive income? And I said, sure. I led the discussion group and that opened up doors to, hey, would you like to teach a person here or teach a person there and get a class? And so it's kind of growing. And I see it. I see light at the end of the tunnel of this really just going off and taking roots.
And this is
And
less than 2 years, right? Is that what we're looking at?
oh yeah, it's been about 1 year now that I've joined. Yeah. And so I'm really looking
Try
forward
this
to
at home. Tanya's on fire.
I'm really looking forward to it to take off and grab the roots and just keep on growing. And I really like it because this is what I was looking for. It's something that I really enjoy getting up and doing every morning. It's exciting. And once you find that, you just go for it.
Well, listen, Tanya, I cannot say how much I appreciate you taking the time and letting you've inspired me to just start this presentation. I'll tell you that. So if you guys are out there and you have not, this is your first time hearing about notes, I should say, or if you are actually just looking to get involved and just find out more education, the education part is key to even JVing with people like Tanya. She told you she wants to make sure you at least have some education. So check out our podcast. Tanya, put some information in chat that you don't mind sharing with people, because I'd love for people to reach out. This is an education platform that loves to expand. Okay.
Sure. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Tanya, before you leave, I'm going to ask you, the audience has 3 questions. I'm going to ask guys, what is an OPM?
OPM is other people's money. So it's usually a JV partner or using an investor's money or private money or IRA money, solo 401k money in order to invest.
And if I may, we like to age ourselves. That is also a playoff of an old Danny DeVito movie, OPM. So,
Love it. And we have another question here from Ed. If I buy a non-performing note, do I then own the whole property, or am I just collecting mortgage payments?
well, that's an interesting question. I think we'll get into that when we do the slideshow a little bit more, because the thing is that when you buy a non-performing note, there's no payment. So the performing part is really predicated on the payment. So Tanya, if you're still with us, you bought both performing and non-performing notes. Is that correct? And can you kind of walk them through, just because you may bring it, from a layman's term, what the difference would be?
Sure. Well, a performing note essentially means that it's still the person is paying, the borrower is paying. So as soon as you purchase it, you automatically start getting payments. But if it's a non-performing note, that means the borrower has stopped paying. So once they've stopped paying, you have to go in and either get it to try and reperform, meaning you want to get the borrower to start paying again, or you have to go into foreclosure, take the property back, and then you have multiple exit strategies in that you can flip it and sell it. You can put renters in it. You can turn another note and have another borrower get into it. So if it's non-performing, you definitely would not be getting a payment at all unless you start to get it to reperform again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Well put.
And then one more question, guys, from Ed again. If it is a non-performing note, what makes sure that I will be paid each month?
So yeah, I think she just went over that in her explanation. So that's probably before, but you are not getting paid at all with a non-performing note. There's no money coming in. Otherwise, you're buying a performing note or the note's reperforming. And really, the security that we rest on is that we prefer to collect mortgage payments than rent payments, right? So the person who's paying their mortgage, Anthony, people on this call, you have a mortgage, you're a lot more vested, okay? You're going to want to make that payment more so than the person who may or may not have a sizable deposit down, or a renter who can get up and go to their parents' house or whatever their new situation is. So we love taking being lien lords versus landlords, if that makes sense.
Correct. That makes sense. Tanya, thank you so much. I'm going to give it back to Jasmine.
So today I prepared a presentation for you guys, and hopefully it'll answer some of the questions that you have. And we will circle back in particular to the one that I believe Ed had. So if you have further questions from that, Ed, feel free to put them in chat. We'll address them. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen, and we'll do the rest of them at the end. Welcome to How to Build Your Empire with Mortgage Note Investing. As mentioned, my name is Jasmine Willois. I'm very excited about the people who had the opportunity to join us here. I'm originally from New York, so this means a lot to me to come back and speak to my people out here on the East Coast. Quickly have a disclaimer here for you guys. This is just an educational video, so definitely always go out and get advice from your CPA, your accountant, and your attorneys before you do get into anything of this caliber. This is definitely a game of paper, right? So a lot of reading, and you need to know what you're getting into before you get involved, right? So a lot of the questions that you have here, they're great. This is a great opportunity to get them out before you start jumping in and trying to buy notes, especially when it comes to what notes are expected to do when you buy them, right? So as always, want to say thank you to Anthony for being a great host and having us out here. So, we always have a great time, and we really look forward to getting back out there with you. What I want to do today is set some expectations. Here's some expectations, all right? By the end of this presentation, you should be able to identify what type of empire you're looking to build, right? You showed up to this call to how to build an empire. Well, it'd be a lot of nerve for me to start telling you how to build something when we haven't asked what type of empire you want to build. So take the time to know what you're going to get. Our guest, Tanya, talked about liking things to be very specific so you can have goals. Well, that's kind of what this is about, right? Think to yourself, what that looks like to you. So we're going to go through that. We're going to understand how mortgage note investing can help build that empire once you've identified it. We're going to begin to get you to think how to profit and think like a bank, right? So there are two different hats you have to wear. Then we're going to talk about the importance of alternative investing, which is really the space we're in, right? So there's traditional investments like stocks, bonds, traditional real estate. When it comes to debt, buying debt, that's more of an alternative investment. Then we're going to show you some success stories, show you some inventory, and lastly, take some questions, okay? Show you how to take action. So if that's okay with everyone, let's get going. So what does an empire mean to you? I put this up here because we talked about how I'm all about 5K and 5Y. So this generational wealth. And so you see that in a lot of my LinkedIn. If you're out there on LinkedIn, feel free to follow me, but you'll see that I tag generational wealth in there. And legacy. So that may be important. So if you're the type of person who has children, you want to, grow into this industry or just grow into the financial freedom. Is that what this means to you? Let's talk about that. How do we build towards that? Left-hand side, if you're an empire type of guy or girl for that matter, right? You're just trying to build an empire, take over the world, right? Which is not this, everything we said about that as well. What does that look like? What does it look like as far as stacking the money and making sure you have the passive income to go out there and do that? And so that's really where we want you to start your thinking process, because that's going to get to your why. And as I believe, your why is very important before you start any journey, never mind your mortgage note journey. All right. So one of the things I wanted to help you identify is who buys mortgage notes. Tanya mentioned earlier that one of the things that excited her about this was that she could also become the bank and start basically playing in or trading with the same assets that banks use. And so if that caught your attention or your eye, then know that these are some of the people that are out there doing this right now, whether you know it or not. So hedge funds, right? We know about those guys. These are some of the people that we buy from. Family offices. If you're not familiar with that term, please take the time to look it out. But it's definitely something that's going out there for people doing generational wealth. There are a lot of classes and seminars you can take as far as that's concerned as well. A lot of self-employed people, we work with you guys, people with a lot of self-directed IRAs. So I did see a gentleman out here that I spoke to today out of New York. So if I can give Jack a shout out, he works with a self-directed IRA firm as well. So you got to get to know people like them because they are access to a lot of the money out there. So doctors, I know a doctor in Arkansas right now who owns over 200 mortgages on his own that he created. Okay, so we teach people how to create them as well. And he makes more money passively off of his notes than he does his job, right? And so he's looking to retire here soon, and he can either sell and liquidate his portfolio, and trust me, he'll get millions for it, or he can hold on to it, and it's just the paperwork. So you have to know the right people to sell that to. You can put these things in your educational savings account. So I know a lot of parents buying these things, believe it or not, right? You have a child, 6, 7, 10. I have a son, he's 11. Educational savings account is a great opportunity to put something. You can find some lower balance mortgages. We've sold mortgages as low as $4,000, as high as $300,000, right? And so you can take those smaller mortgages and put them in to educational savings accounts. We may find little buckets of money. Athletes, a lot of them do not know it, but there are a lot of funds out of Los Angeles that actually are backed by mortgages. So a lot of these guys are doing the same things that the insurance companies are doing. We have nonprofits that are buying these same things, and it's because it is what we have found to be one of the truest forms of passive income. Why do they buy these things? So we mentioned the passivity of this, right? So no tenants, no toilets, no trash, right? If you have a mortgage right now and your plumbing breaks or you sink, you don't get to call B of A, as they call themselves, right? You don't have to call Wells. You don't have to call Bank of Jasmine either. So we love that we don't have tennis sorts of trash. If you're out there and you're a landlord, you know our struggles, okay? I used to have plenty of properties that I was a landlord for, and even was raised on property management. So I know what goes into maintaining properties. And so we prefer to kind of from afar, control things from afar, and really manage our income that way and have less to do with that, less hands-on, okay? ROI, I did skip that. So let's circle back to that because that's one of the biggest things. So you're gonna find returns here that are pretty just awe-saking, right? So when you just, without us mentioning them here, you did hear Tanya say that she's out there offering 10% to her JV partner. So you have really nice, solid returns on your investment, ROI. And when you buy the non-performing notes, you're getting them at a discount. So you're able to get those. If you get those reperforming, your returns are really, really astronomical. So just take note of that because it's that next thing that we're talking about, which is the discounted pricing. So imagine being able to go out, and if you're in the right hands, now I can tell you right now, a lot of trade desk and other sellers of notes, purveyors of notes as we call ourselves, they may sell notes at par, right, and expect you to pay full price for everything. But in general, if you're a seasoned note investor and you're in the right community, you're going to get a discount on almost everything you see. Okay, so imagine being able to go and shop for this paper and knowing that you're going to, the question is not if you get a discount, but how steep of a discount you're going to get. Okay, so that's built-in security right there as far as equity and things of that. If you can follow what I'm saying, but just know that this is a market where you can come in and expect to get a discount. All right, inventory. So we talked about that before. It's very different. We're not expecting to get a key, and be able to walk through a door when we get this. We're going to get a collateral file. It's just a manila envelope, right, with paperwork inside of it. So just know that you are going to be stepping into another realm. And so you have to get comfortable with that. But many of us do feel comfortable with that after we learn the ropes. And why? For just that reason. We don't have to go and drive and knock on a door and put a key in. We don't have to keep track of keys. I know I'm horrible with keys. So that alone was ding, 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 ding. So just knowing the type of inventory that you're dealing with, you're going to be dealing with paperwork here. So you're going to trade a lot of your, I like to say you're trading in your sprained arms from doing, hammering and for paper cuts, right? If you're painting, if that's what you're doing when you're flipping homes, you're going to trade that in for phone calls with your attorney. Risk management tools. Let's talk about that. So with every investment, there are risks. So even with note investing, what we happen to love about this is that there are a variety of tools that you can use to manage and mitigate this risk. And these are the same tools that the big banks use. So just having that type of arsenal, right, handy, is why we feel this is one of the areas, the best places to be when you're in the middle of a recession, right? So I often do seminars on how to recession-proof your portfolios. This is it. This is the secret to the sauce. It's getting things at a discount all the time and making sure you're in control and that you are the bank. Because many of you notice that the banks, we don't really see them failing at recession or not, right? And so that's really the position that our clients are in, and that's why they buy these notes, going back to that subject line. So overall, if you do this the right way, this is going to be a passive investment, as passive as it's going to get, to be clear. This is a situation where you're better off dealing with the phone calls and emails, right? It's nothing that you have to get up to go and do anything. So the level of involvement is just on a different scale. And I feel that is what, kind of makes it easier for us as we get into our older ages, if you know what I'm saying. We like to relax, right? So for those of you who are looking to do less, right? Flipping, I loved doing that when I was younger. I was at Home Depot here, Home Depot there. It was awesome, comparing color schemes. It was amazing. Then I became a parent. And so right now, the biggest thing I want to deal with is making sure my child is not on his video games when he's supposed to be on online schooling, right? And so you can run this business any way you want. What we teach here at the Note Assistance Program is for you to delegate. So that's our system here. That's part of the proprietary part of it. But otherwise, yes, you can definitely do mailings, 1,000 letters a day, bandit signs, all those traditional means of marketing, which I like to call guerrilla marketing, right? So we actually deliver you, let's get to the inventory part. We deliver inventory to our members on a monthly basis, and think that's what separates us outside of the training from most of the programs out there. So first thing we say is please go out and try to get as much education as you can before you join the program. So because this is a program of action, we're going to be sending you inventory on a monthly basis. And so this inventory has addresses, as you can imagine, social security numbers, real personal information. We cannot continue to send that out to people who are not active and we don't know what their intent is, if that makes sense. So let's dive in and talk more about the inventory. What is our inventory? Okay. You just told me, Jasmine, I'm not going to get keys. I'm not going to actually get the house. What am I getting? As mentioned, you're going to get a copy of that deed and that promissory note. So all that loan document stuff that you guys filled out, if you've ever bought a home, that's what you're buying. And so we've got performing notes and we've got non-performing notes. We take a look here. I just did this, these two images to kind of give you a contrast so you can kind of really work through your head what a non-performing versus a performing note would look like. So in general, most of you would say right away that the house on the left with the car parked in front of it would be the performing note, right? By a show of hands in chat, or just type yes, right? Yes. You probably think the house with the parked car in is performing. Then the boarded up home, right? That's the non-performing note, right? The first myth I want to unravel for you is just that performing note and non-performing note, this asset class really has very little to do with the underlying asset. It has to do with the borrower's performance, whether they are making payments or not. We are banks. We just want the money coming in. And so I have literally purchased, okay, notes that look like the house on the right with the boarded up. And about a month or two after I get it boarded, I start receiving payments on it. It's performing note. $500 a month. Had something like that happen in Texas. $500 a month is coming in. So you don't know who has interest in this, right? In that particular case, if I remember correctly, the original borrower was no longer with us. And so it was either a sister or a cousin or someone who was paying the mortgage because they wanted to keep it in the family. So performing note. Whereas on the other side, you could have, you know, as we have right now, this could be a realtor over here in California who is just not keeping up with things. So now they have not paid their mortgage and it's happening. This is what's happening right now. Okay. Great home. Paid the guy last week to mow the lawn, but cannot get the mortgage paid. And so as a note holder, you're concerned with whether the payments are coming in. And that's what's going to define the payments, whether it's performing, shooting, or non-performing. So hopefully that made sense, everyone. Here's some of the benefits and risk, right? So we kind of read over them. There's obviously a lot more. We actually spend an entire hour going over the risk, unlike most programs, because we pride ourselves on walking through things and letting you know what to expect. Here's in a nutshell some of the benefits, some of the risk. We kind of went over most of these, so I'll just let you take a screenshot if that's what you're doing, but just know that there's a reason why the banks are out there. And they have the biggest buildings, right? In every city you go to. Performing notes versus non-performing notes, you are going to be looking at different things when you're doing your due diligence. So this is a quick outline of some of the things that you will need to do due diligence on. Excuse me, due diligence. So here's what's surprising. Many people think you're going to have to do a lot more due diligence on a non-performing note than the performing note. And it's quite the contrary. And so we won't get into the weeds of that during this presentation, but just know that just when you think you know what to expect or know how to handle this asset class, training is probably something good you should go through at least once. Here's an example of some inventory. And realistically, this is more of an example of a tape. This is what we call a tape. So we email a spreadsheet like this. I think last month it was about 10 million. Our highest month has been about 80 million dollars worth of unpaid balance. So it's a UPB. And so it's just going to be a spreadsheet like this, and it can have thousands and thousands of notes on it. And some of them are performing, some of them are non-performing. Okay. And we just went through that before. So if you're with my community, you're just going to wake up in the morning and boom, I've got inventory. Let's go through it and let's find some deals. And so this is what we teach you, is how to get a tape like this, a spreadsheet, and realize where the money is. Boom, boom, boom. There's money in there, believe it or not. Right now, what I do have are a few examples of success stories, and these are all pretty recent. Okay, so if you check out this one, here's the point of this section. It's really to show you how vast and diverse of inventory and opportunities that we get. Okay, I cannot tell you how awesome it is to be able to be in California. Tanya sit there, I believe she's in Maryland. Our other investors are in states like Georgia, and for us to be able to take advantage of opportunities in Michigan, in Georgia, in all these other states that are not ours. What I'd like to do is show you this one, which is one in Georgia, Dawson, Georgia. Date of purchase was July 20th. This is about, we didn't know where Dawson, Georgia was, to be honest with you. I actually attended Clark Atlanta University in Georgia for a while, so Atlanta, and just had to use a map for this as well. What we liked about it, that it was on 1.5 acres. We did notice that there was a BMW in the driveway. So these are the things we're looking at, right? These are the things we're looking at on performing notes. Purchase price was $34,000, and the principal and interest payments was $500. So you can do your own math on this. Bottom line is that this particular return is really good for our clients because it's 18% cash on cash, right? And so you have questions, feel free to, I have my assistant out there. Her name is Latrice Nervous. She can set up a call with you and I, should you be looking to break down some of these deals. But this is a great 18% performing note that we have out in Dawson, Georgia that we sold. And it was actually a lease option. And so it's just, what's so interesting about this is that even within the world of paper, there's diversification. There's lease options you can buy. You can buy mortgages, conventional mortgages. You can buy contract for deeds, land contracts. So just know that we're versed here and equipped to teach you how to purchase any piece of paper that comes to you that looks like it's going to have a great return. Let's talk about this one, Ashland, Kentucky. So wonderful example, because remember I told you, we're not necessarily too concerned with the underlying asset. It's because we're bankers. So this one was purchased in January 2019. Purchase price was $14,000. They spent about $5,000 in additional expenses. Seller financing terms is what they ended up doing in the end. They took this and foreclosed on it over their time. So they purchased it in January. And from January until they sold it, they were out there looking for buyers, and they ended up doing a seller financing on this for $28,000. Okay. And so when you do the math, they took $1,000 down. They have 10 years at a 10% interest rate. Okay. And so this is something that's the investor put in their education, their self-directed IRA. So if you're out there and Jack, if you were able to communicate with him, Jack can help you on how to get things like this into your self-directed IRA. And the benefit of that is now he's got a asset in there that has a borrower in there, and should he need to, or when he wants to, he can sell the note too. So that's the beautiful part, and it's worth on face value $28,000. So we love that. This is another great story. This is an actual payoff. So if I remember correctly, this is actually Tanya's deal. I don't know if she's still around. She'd come and talk about this herself. But yeah, so this one she purchased in December. And what was awesome about this one was that this one scared her to death, right? When we purchased it, there was actually a tree through the roof of a property right down the street. And that property was going for $50,000 as is. So that's what encouraged us to buy this one, because as you can see, we got it for $18,000 the note, okay? The condition of the house, nothing for us to argue about, okay? I don't know whether you'd move into it or not, but here's the deal. Someone does live in it and did live in it. And this neighborhood, the values of this home were just going up and going up and going up. And so if I remember correctly, the value of this home was close to $80,000, $90,000. This person owed around $27,000. And so she bought it for $10,000, collected payments for a few months. Next thing you know, they said, the lease is up. We'd like to pay you off and own the house outright. And so she called us up, got the paperwork, and next thing you know, boom, she got a full payoff. So her return, her ROI after expenses, it was around 33%. So again, these are the type of returns that people keep running back to, right? And she did not have to go to Lockport, Louisiana to find the note. Okay, to procure the note, she did not leave her home. To take down the note, to fully execute the note and all that good stuff. None of it required her to leave. She just took the direction and then waited for the payoff. So to have the opportunity to do things like that and do a 33% return, this is why people think that this is a duplicatable model and why they would like to do this for a living and why they think they can. Most of us aren't offered 33% returns no matter how hard we work. And if you have a stockbroker right now, I'll take a pause and say that is calling you with these type of returns, please give them my number as well. We do take those calls. All right, let's talk about this one. I think this is one of our last ones. St. Louis, Missouri. I'm telling you, we're all over. This is what I love about this business. So again, I'm able to take advantage of opportunities that are not just in my backyard, but in other people's backyards. If the money makes sense, I'm in, okay? St. Louis, Missouri. This one was a doozy. When you talk about the square foot, this was almost 3,000 square feet. So if you wanted to renovate it, the renovation was going to be huge. Considering all that, including the condition, we still went ahead and purchased the note. We paid $12,000 for the note. In the end, we added another $4,000. So there's about $16,000 that she was all in on this note. As she was getting the city inspector to go through the house to tell her what was wrong with it, the city inspector said he has a contractor who wanted to buy the house from her. And so they did a deal. She asked for $35,000 cash. She was in at 16. And call it a day. So if you can do the math on that, that's a really good opportunity as well. So again, not leaving the space of your home, right? And taking advantage of opportunities in other places. So it's really about having the team in place. That's what we're here to offer you. And I'm ready to take questions if you have any.
We have a question from George Adams.
Okay.
Do we know what stages the notes are in, or do they vary? Final judgments, sales schedule, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so that's the grab bag of fun right there. You do not know, and that's why you get the discount, right? The knowledge is a power in this community and this business. So the more you know about the note, as a seller, the more you're going to want for the note, because it's really about having no idea what's going to happen to the note. So the seller says, hey, you take it. I don't know what direction this is going to go. Because of my relationships with the banks that we buy from, many times, yes, I can call and ask them, or they will let us know. They may fill in on a column. You can look at that by looking at the servicing notes as well. So depending upon how far you are on your due diligence process, if you have gotten as far as getting the electronic collateral, yes, you can go ahead and read the servicing notes, and then you can tell what stage the foreclosure is in. But on average, you never really know, because what's on the spreadsheet, it could, still be happening. It could be on pause. So that I can say it varies, and that's the grab bag of fun. But that's why you learn to analyze it and go in for the discount, because you don't know what's going to happen. Just because it says it's in foreclosure doesn't mean it's going to actually go through foreclosure. They might start paying tomorrow.
An anonymous attendee, how do you actually buy notes? Generally owned by the banks. Can you just walk into the bank and buy their notes?
Not at all. And that's a great question. And so this business is generally reserved for hedge funds. All right. And so just know that 100% there's an entire infrastructure built to keep the average person out from getting this inventory. So no, you cannot just walk into the bank. They might call security on you. So you have to know the asset managers that are actually in control of the inventory. And those guys are not in at the tellers, right? They're not at the branches. Okay. These are guys at corporates. These are at the offices that don't have addresses. If you've ever seen, you're anonymous. So is some of these big offices where the banks run their mortgages out of. So servicers are another place you can go and get them. So there's tons of places that you can go to get these notes. But by no means is it's very rare that you can go direct. Going direct to these banks is going to require you to buy in bulk. And so typically you're going to need to lay down anywhere from $10 to $30 million to buy an entire tape. And you'll get a substantial discount as well. But that's the way you go to interact with these banks. Once you find an asset manager, they're going to want you to buy millions at a time.
Okay, so Jasmine, basically, I want to buy a note. Do I go to you? Are you going to help me buy a note? So you're the person.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Like I said, I have my assistant in there in the chat. Hopefully she's got an opportunity to put in the ways to contact us, but I will be happy to let you know right now. You can go to noteassistanceprogram.com. That's www.noteassistanceprogram.com. I really encourage you guys to check out our podcast, Naked Notes podcast. You find us on Facebook. You're going to find us on LinkedIn, and you also find us on all of your favorite podcast places like Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. But yes, we're really accessible right now. You can go to our website and just reach out to Latrice. We have a live chat there as well. And you have a phone number, which is 855-541-6683. That's 855-541-6683. And we're looking forward to this chat to anyone who's open to the discussion and has a mindset to become the bank.
You have a three-part series with us. Can you discuss a little bit about what you'll be talking next time, then next part 2? Because you do have part 3. So I'd like to, tell us a little bit what you're going to talk about part 2, and can, of course, our guest invite some friends to come and hear you.
Yes, definitely bring whoever you can who, again, like I said, has a capacity to deal with what we're talking about now, right now. But yes, we're going to just dig into this a little deeper. This was just a quick overview. So I know you have a lot of questions. Some of you guys are just not going to be able to sleep at night. You're going to say, wait a minute, did she just tell me I can collect mortgages from people? And so, if you get bit by the bug, get up in the morning and give us a call. But we're going to be on the next 3 webinars, so you can still have access to it. So we're going to dig deeper into, yes, we're going to talk about how to recession proof and what it means to recession proof your portfolio. We're going to talk about what a note is, right? And get deep down into the specific details of what you're going to be buying. So we hope to bring as much education as possible. And most importantly, if you have the opportunity, since we're going to be here, let us know some questions in advance so I can make sure to field those.
Jasmine, someone wasn't able to check out your webinar. They did register, but they asked the question, how is the note valued? How is it's like value determination? He mentioned something about a PBO. Is it broker price opinion, or is it some type of true appraisal review? How is that note valued?
Yeah, so that's really the nuance of the training program, because I got to tell you, notes carry different values to different people. So what we're going to teach you is how to value the note for yourself. What you do not want is to have a bank telling you what the value of a note is, right? You want to know what the value is to you. But for the most part, when it, again, depends if you're looking at a non-performing note or a performing note. A performing note is going to be valued entirely different than a non-performing note, and for obvious reasons. And just to get as quickly as I can to the point, a performing note is going to be more valued on the cash flow, right? So if you have one of those nice fancy calculators, you're going to value cash flow, okay? If you have a non-performing note, remember, you don't have cash flow to value. And so now that's going to take more into account of all the things that we're going to teach in the program, which is the demographics, the economy around surrounding it. So the value of that's going to have a lot more to do with the 30,000-foot view, population, people that are in there, buyers available, then, again, for the underlying asset, then, any stream of income, because we don't have one right now to count on.
And another person had asked a question, do you go into these note purchasing with an exit plan as well?
Oh, 100%.
Okay,
That's where
and I guess this question would be, what is your advice for a great exit plan?
Yeah, so the entire secret to our success is just that. When you join our program, we take you, first of all, we start you training on non-performing note, because that's what will happen if a performing note stops making payments, it becomes non-performing. So we think it's of utmost importance that you learn what to do with a non-performing note. So you're prepared should the worst case happen. So we train here based on the worst case scenario. And yes, it's very important that we start with all the exit strategies. The beautiful thing about notes, there are 15 to 20 different exit strategies that one note can have. And so you have, options to pick. We tend to pick the top 5 or 6 that can play out based upon what we know about that note. And then we plan accordingly and see and punch in the numbers before we purchase a note. So without hesitation, we definitely start with the end in mind, especially when buying non-performing notes. But for us at the Note Assistance Program, we're trained to use that same approach even when we're buying performing notes. If I buy this now, what price am I willing to pay? So if it goes non-performing, I'm still going to be ahead of the game.
I do have another question, and Ro at Malik. What is the duration of the program and cost of your training program? What is the duration of your program and the cost of your training program?
Yeah, and thanks for asking. I figured I'd save that for the next 2, but like I said, I do have Latrice standing by to field those questions as well. But since you asked 100%, the program, what I would expect you to do is set aside at least 2 years to get through the program. The actual training itself is in 3 different phases. So phase 1, That's going to take you about 1 to 2 months, depending upon your speed. You're going to meet with us once a week, okay, for about 2 to 3 months and get through phase one. The next two phases are going to be us actually walking you through the purchase, acquisition, and exit strategies of those notes. So as Tanya talked about, we don't disappear. We're here to help you go through a program. So depending upon, we're here to help you go through your first note. So depending upon where you buy, right? Many of you guys are going to listen to us, and we're going to lead you towards states like Michigan and Indiana. And many of you guys are going to rebel and go ahead and want to buy in Florida and these other states are going to take New York. We love New York, but it's going to take time. So if you're out there and you insist on buying your first note in New York, know that that could be the 2-year program, right? Because we're going to need to walk you through to the end. So just know that the average program is between 6 to 8 months, okay? And it can go as long as 12 to 18 months. So that's what I would tell you to brace yourself for. As far as the costs are concerned, today our cost is $69.95, so it's a little under $7,000, so $6,995. That's for the hands-on program. We also have an online platform which you can check out on our website at www.noteassistanceprogram.com. That's think about half price, about $3,500 there as well. So go ahead and check out our website. It'll tell you all the information on the pricing, and most importantly, you can reach us at 855-541-6683, and we'll be happy to take your calls and questions in person.
We got another question. Let's just ask this one. Ed, in the event that we walk through the no purchase, what do you get out of it? In the event that we walk through a no purchase, what do you get out of it?
So I'm not really sure if I understand the question, so forgive me if I kind of go off in a tangent, because I believe you're asking me why you'd buy a note and what you would get out in the end. So the reason we buy these notes and walk through them is so we can get profit in the end. So the whole goal is to get money and profit out of the end. So I don't know that I specifically understand your question, but if we walk through the note, so you pay the $7,000, $6,995, that's to retain us, to help you get through the ups and downs of the note, help you find the note, do the budget sheet with you, and we'll walk you through to the end. So once you exit the note, whether it's because it's now performing for 3 consecutive months, performing note, you win. So what you get is money. You get monthly income and a nice return, I imagine, based upon what we got that for. If it's a non-performing note, we walk it through to the end and we foreclose. We flip it, we sell it to a flipper. Whatever you do, it's a sale. As you saw, there's a payoff. You get money in the end. So really, at the end of every note, there should be money, unless I'm missing the question.
Yeah. Ed was asking, what do you, meaning Jasmine, what do you get out of it? So that's what Ed was
What I
asking.
get out of it is hopefully I get someone who had a great success with notes, and now you want to come back and buy more. So I don't make money off the $69.95. That's to keep the program up and running. That's going to get you trained by Natasha. Latrice is out there doing things. I need you to have a great experience, right? And want to buy more notes. So no one makes money off you buying one note. That's why this industry is not open for the individual person, because if you buy one note, again, it's not worth the time building the contract. So what I do is I will take the community, right? So let's say Ed and Robin and all you guys are there. There's over 600 people in my community. They all want to put in offers. I'll take them, pull them together, and go to a bank and say, hey, I have $500,000 I want to spend with you today. And so now, instead of you going and asking for one note, okay, I'm going forth and saying we're buying $500,000. So I get I get lower pricing for my community. Do I buy notes? Yes, I buy notes sometimes as well. So lower pricing helps me as well. But that's when I start making money, is when you get to come back to the trade desk and start buying more notes. So that's hopefully answers your question, but still it's money, hopefully in the end, right? You're going to buy more notes, and we have a trade desk fee there in which you're going to pay, so we can all make money off the notes.
We got another question here. We're just going to go with it really quick, but after this question, we're going to conclude it.
You're gonna cut it
And
off.
then I'll let you guys, let's see. Alex, let's see. Do you buy second lien positions change drastically? Do you buy, I think he's saying, do you buy second lien positions?
Well, we do have access to second position. So I guess, like you said, we'll save most of these questions for if you want to give us a call. But yeah, we have second lien positions. Those are reserved for our buyers club. So you're not going to get exposure to those day one, less than one. You've never bought a note before, because those are more sophisticated. But yeah, I just got a whole tape of about 83 second positions in California. Perfect pay, as we call them. So you've never missed a payment yet. It's going to be a nice opportunity for someone looking for a good 8-9% return backed by real estate in California. So go figure.
That's great. Good story. Good info. Good stuff. Once again, thanks everybody. And Jasmine will be reaching out to you all. Thank you. This concludes.
See
Bye-bye.
you next week.